my blurry condition. I hide myself in the room and just tell them all that it's nothing, all alone with all of these humans in a fever.
Hello and welcome to the practice problems video on the gradient and directional derivatives. Okay, for this problem we're going to calculate the gradient of of the function h of xyz is equal to x times y times z to the negative third power. Okay, so for the gradient, that basically just means, so gradient of h would basically mean that we're taking the derivative, the partial derivatives of each of h with respect to each of these components and putting them in their respective places. So the first one would be the partial derivative with respect to x. The second component would be the partial derivative of h with respect to y, and the third component, partial derivative with respect to z. Okay, and in Leibniz notation, this would be denoted partial h, partial x, and then the next one would be partial h, partial y, and the last one is partial h, partial z. Okay, so let's do so and see what we get. So we get that the gradient of h is equal to, so the partial derivative with respect to x of x, y, z to the negative third. The next component, partial derivative with respect to y of x, y, z to the negative 3. And then the last one is partial with respect to z of x, y, z to the negative third power. Okay, so let's continue here. So for this first one, we're looking at x as our variable, and the other two are our constants, right? So this would basically just be that, right? The y times z to the negative 3 would come out. For the next one, we're looking at y as our variable, and the other ones are just constants in there. So we would just get y to the 1 power, right? So since it's y to the 1 power, then we would just take out the coefficients. So that would be x times z to the negative 3. Okay, and for the last one, this one's a little bit trickier because now we're looking at z as our variable and x and y are constants. So we're just going to use the power rule. We're going to bring that negative 3 down in front so it'll join the x and the y, and we'll subtract 1 from the exponent so we get a negative 4. Okay, so that's basically it. Here is our gradient of h.